So this is lecture number 8 in continuation of the lecture 7 in unit 2. So in this unit we will study about the types of grammar, because whenever we are going to design any compiler, then we always use some sort of grammar, whether we are writing compiler for the C or the Java or any other. Then each compiler has its own grammar. So the types of grammar here we will use on the basis of number of derivation trees. Here we will decide the grammar on the basis of the number of trees. So first is called the ambiguous grammar and another is called the unambiguous grammar. So we always use unambiguous grammar. Means whenever we are going to draw any parse tree, and if we will get a single parse tree for a particular derivation or the expression, then we can say that our grammar is unambiguous. Otherwise, if we are getting more than one parse tree, then it is called the ambiguous grammar. So this is the difference between the ambiguous grammar and unambiguous grammar. So we will use on the behalf of the trees. So if we are getting single tree, it means unambiguous grammar, or ambiguous grammar if we are getting more than one tree for a particular derivation or a expression. So ambiguous grammar, a grammar is set to ambiguous if for any string, because here we will use the string. Always we scan several strings after writing the programs, because after writing the complete program, we compile, we press or click over the button of the compiler to compile the program. So lexical analyzer divides a number of strings, a whole program, into the number of strings. So it is scanned by the lexical analyzer, and for each string we draw the parse tree, or we can say the syntax tree. Then it produces more than one parse tree. If it produces more than one parse tree, then we can say that the grammar is ambiguous, means it is faulty grammar. Now we can see that parse tree, if we are getting more than one parse tree, or we are getting more than one derivation, or more than one syntax tree, or the derivation tree, all are same. Okay, or leftmost derivation or rightmost derivation. So these are the options if we are getting more than one. Okay, either parse tree or the derivation tree or the syntax tree or the leftmost derivation. If we are getting leftmost leftmost derivation more than one time, similarly rightmost derivation more than one time, then it is called the ambiguous grammar. Otherwise, if we will get a single parse tree or the derivation tree or the syntax tree, leftmost derivation or rightmost derivation, then it is called the unambiguous. Otherwise, ambiguous. So, what is the reason for that? Just we will emphasize over the reason one. So, let us consider a string W. Just we are giving a name W generated by the grammar. So, here the grammar is given. Okay, no need to take tension of the grammar. So it will be provided to you. It is the grammar of the compiler. So here we have a string. A string is given, W is equal to ID plus ID into, this is the sign of the, this is the sign of the multiplication. So W is equal to ID plus ID into ID. So this is a sort of string, or we can say the expression. Now let us draw the parse trees for this string. Okay, so this is the given string. Now how we will draw the parse tree for this string. Okay. Now you can see in this slide, since two parse trees exist for string W, now we can draw the two parse tree for the given string W. Therefore, the grammar is, we can say, ambiguous. Now you can check yourself. E is the expression E plus E. Okay, and we will assign ID. ID is identifier. Identifier to this. Okay, again we are dividing this expression into left most expression and right most expression. This is multiplication sign operator. Okay, this is operator, arithmetic operator. Now we are going to divide E and E. Okay, because we have the string ID plus ID into ID. This is the actual string. Now we will assign such type of value so that we can get the output as given. What is the output? Here W is equal to ID plus ID into ID. So how we will draw the parse tree for this? Now you can see. So this is called the parse tree 1. Okay. Here just you are assigning ID plus this is operator again ID, and just you are dividing this expression as per need of the string. What type of string we need. Okay. And after dividing this again assigning ID, and this is operator symbol, this is ID. So this is called the parse tree. So in this way we are getting the output ID plus ID into ID. Okay. Now we have the option. Option means we will get the same output. Okay. Now here we are dividing E into E. Just we are dividing the rightmost part of the string. So E into E. Okay. Now again we are dividing this expression into E plus E. Okay. And assigning identifier to this and this. Now again we can write ID plus ID into ID. So from both the trees we will get the same output. Okay. So these are two options, or if you have any other option to get the same output, then you can use the other method also. So by using both trees we will get the same string, or if we are getting the same output using two trees, it means the grammar is ambiguous. So this is called the ambiguous grammar, means faulty grammar. If we are getting two trees, it means faulty grammar. Now just we are considering an example. Consider the following grammar. E is here assigning E plus E slash E, operator symbol multiplication E oblique ID, means this is the slash divide sign. Okay. Now how we will proceed in this case? Here we can write, we have the options E plus E. Okay. But here is E divided by E, slash means E divided by E. Now multiplication again with E, then again this division or slash ID. Okay. Now how we will proceed in this case? Because we have this expression. This is called the ambiguous grammar. Why this is ambiguous grammar? Because in this case again we will achieve same output by using two trees. Then it is called the ambiguous grammar. Okay, if we will achieve or receive only one tree, it means unambiguous grammar. So this grammar is an example of ambiguous grammar, because in this case again we will get two trees. Again we can draw two parse trees. Any of the following reason can be stated to prove the grammar ambiguous. Now another reason for this, let us consider a string W generated by the grammar. Again we have the same string. W is equal to ID identifier plus ID into ID. Now let us draw the syntax tree for this string. Now this is the way, since two syntax tree exist in the preceding case, you have already seen that for the same string, we can draw the two syntax tree. So this is the way, this is the operator symbol. Just we are not writing here E, capital E means expression, just we are assigning ID to plus sign. This is the operator symbol ID and again ID. So this is the, just we are considering the right side derivation here. Okay, and here we are considering the left derivation, but in both the cases we will get the same output. So if we will get the same output with the help of the two syntax tree, it means ambiguous grammar. So just here we are avoiding to write the expression capital E again and again. Reason 3, let us consider a string W generated by grammar. W is equal to same string. Now let us write the leftmost derivation. Okay, we write the leftmost derivation of this string. Now since two leftmost derivation exist for string W, therefore the grammar is ambiguous. If there are more than one derivation on the left hand side, it means grammar is ambiguous. So in the preceding slide, you have already studied the number of options in which you can prove that the given expression or the string is ambiguous. So this is another way to prove the expression to be faulty. Okay, here we have expression E plus E. Now replacing E, ID plus E. Again we are replacing, here we are writing same ID plus E. We can write E into E, because on the, we will proceed, okay, we will proceed as per given grammar. Okay, the grammar is given to us, provided to us here like this, id plus id plus e into e. So the string given, okay, here the string is provided in the form of id plus id into id. So we will proceed as per string. Okay, so as per string, just we can write here id plus, and again we will break because we need id into id. So we can break this expression again into two expressions, and then we will replace e by id one by one. Okay, we will move only one step. So again in the next step we will replace expression by id. So this is the string. Okay, and again here we can write first, here is plus sign. Okay, and here we are considering the rightmost case. Okay, right derivation. So in this case, just see, just here we are considering this right side. Okay, now here we can put e again and dividing, we are going to divide e into e. Okay, this expression again we can write in the form of e into e as per need of the given string. Okay, id we can assign again one by one. Here we will write again the same thing, id, then again we will replace this id into e, and then id plus id into id. So we will move one step again and again. Okay, we cannot write all the expression or total steps in one step. Okay, so this is the way. So here if we are proceeding with the help of the expression, whether it is a leftmost or rightmost, we are getting the same string, same output. Then we can say that the grammar is ambiguous. Okay, this is called the faulty grammar. Reason 4, considering reason 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us consider same string. Now let us write the rightmost derivation for this string. Now again write, since two rightmost derivation exist. Okay, so here again we are considering the same, e plus e, e into e. Now we are replacing this side. Okay, this is called the right side. This is called the right side. Okay, and in the preceding one, just we are considering the left side, means this side only, this side. Okay, here we are replacing this right side. So again we will write e same, because we are using step 1 2 3 4 like this, and we are replacing here id, and then we will write id into id, then id plus id into id. So again another derivation, again we will proceed in the same fashion, E into ID, just we are replacing ID, and this E we can write E plus E, okay, we are replacing this E as E plus E because it is given in our string. So we always proceed as per our string, as per the requirement of the output, what type of the string is given and what type of we want the output, and as per need of the output we will proceed here. Okay, so in both the cases we have already seen that we are getting the two derivations, either it is a leftmost or the rightmost or the two parts tree. It means the grammar is ambiguous. Okay, this is called the faulty grammar. Now what is the unambiguous grammar? Okay, so in the preceding one we have already seen that we are getting more than one leftmost derivation, more than one rightmost derivation, more than one parse tree, okay, more than one syntax tree. We can also call the syntax tree. Then it is called the ambiguous grammar. And then what is the unambiguous grammar? A grammar is said to be unambiguous if for every string generated by it, it produces exactly one. What is one? If it gives you only one parse tree, okay, or derivation tree means single derivation tree, or single syntax tree, or single leftmost derivation, or single rightmost derivation. So in the similar way, here we will get only one parse tree, okay, as per need of the output. So this is called the unambiguous grammar. So here in this case we will get only a single tree, okay. So now we are again considering one example. Consider the following grammar. E is equal to E plus T slash T. Okay. We can break our expression as per need of the string provided. Okay. And then we can replace expression as per need of the given string. Okay. It is the grammar. Now we can replace E either by E plus T, okay, or by T over T. So we have the option here. First we will solve this T over T and then add to E, or we can put E plus T or T. So we have the option here. Again T, we can write T in place of t into f. Okay, f is another expression, and we can write here as t into f. We can replace this t as t into f or only by f. Okay, or only by f. So here we again have the option, slash means we have the option e plus t or t. T into f, this is multiplication sign operator, t into f or f. So we can replace e by e plus t or only by t. Okay, concentrate over this. We can replace the expression e by e plus t or only by t. Similarly, we can replace this t by t into f or only by f. Similarly, we can replace f only by id. So this is the given grammar, and this grammar is called the unambiguous grammar. If we will proceed in this way and we are going to replace in this fashion, then we will receive here only single tree. So this is called the unambiguous grammar. Okay. So if we will use this grammar, then by using this grammar, we will get only single syntax tree or the single parse tree. So again, just we can dividing the grammar on the basis of the strings. Okay. So types of grammar again. That was the ambiguous grammar and unambiguous grammar. But we can also divide as recursive grammar or non-recursive grammar. So the grammar is again divided on the basis of number of strings because we always have the number of strings. We always divide a number of expression into strings. Okay, lexical analyzer scans all your program, complete program and divide into number of strings. So again, the grammar is divided as ambiguous or non-ambiguous, and in this case, recursive grammar or non-recursive grammar. So there are again two types. Recursive grammar again divided as left recursive grammar and right recursive grammar. So this is the types of grammar. Now, what is the recursive grammar? A grammar is said to be recursive if it contains at least one production that has the same variable at both its left hand side and right hand side. So in this case, grammar is said to be recursive when it is called the recursive grammar if we have the same variable on the left hand side as well as the right hand side and at least one production. Okay, we will use the center sign is called the production symbol. We always use whenever we are going to divide the expression into number of strings, then we will break our program into left hand side strings and right hand side strings. So if we are using the same variable on both left hand side and right hand side, then it is called the recursive grammar. Okay. Or another definition is a grammar is said to be recursive if and only if it generates infinite number of strings. Okay, recursive means repetition. Okay, and if it is able to generate a number of strings, a infinite number of strings, just we are going to break and again we are breaking, again we are breaking and so on. So such type of grammar is called the recursive grammar. A recursive grammar may be either left recursive, it is called the left recursive grammar or the right recursive grammar. So we can divide the recursive grammar into left and right. So left recursive grammar, what is this? A recursive grammar is said to be left recursive if the leftmost variable of right hand side is same as variable of left hand side. Okay. Left recursive grammar is what? A recursive grammar is said to be left recursive if the leftmost variable of right hand side, okay, is same as variable of left hand side. So we will check both the sides here and we will choose the leftmost variable of right hand side. Okay, means just the starting of the right hand side. So at the starting of the right hand side, we will write some variable, and if it is equal to the or we can say same as the variable of left hand side, then we can say it is called the left recursive grammar. So for this we will also consider some examples on the next slides. So a recursive grammar is said to be left recursive if it has left recursion, means if there is a repetition in the side of left. Okay, just we are going to break again and again on left hand side, then it is called the left recursive grammar. Now we can see one of the example. We have the s. Okay, this is given and this we can write it is equal to as a or b. Okay, so such type of example is called the left recursive grammar because we are breaking this in the form of left recursion, because here on the left hand side we have s, and again here we are using s in the form of a or b. So we can write this as a or only b as per need of the string. Okay, always there is one string will be provided to us, and as per need we can replace this. So such type of is called the left recursive grammar. Right recursive grammar. A recursive grammar is said to be right recursive if the rightmost variable. Again, the definition is approximate same, just the direction is different. So if the rightmost variable of right hand side, okay, rightmost variable of right hand side is same as variable of left hand side. In this case, we will consider rightmost variable. Okay, just the end of the right hand side, and we will check the variable there, and if it is equal to the left hand side variable, then we can say the right recursive grammar. Or a recursive grammar is said to be right recursive if it has right recursion, means there is a repetition on the side of the right. Now here we are considering again example as arrowhead. Here we are writing A and then S or B. Okay. So here we are going to proceed in just reverse direction. Okay. In the preceding one, we wrote here as A, but here we are writing AS. So just it is reverse of that. So this is called the one of the example for the right recursive grammar. Okay, so we can break S into AS or B as per need of the given string. So whenever we will use such type of grammar in forming the various string, then you can easily identify. So in the next lecture, I will give you some examples so that you can scrutinize and proceed easily, whether it is a we are using the left recursive grammar or the right recursive grammar. Okay, so such type of examples I will give you. Now another type is called the non-recursive grammar. What is the non-recursive? Means no repetition. A grammar is said to be non-recursive if it contains no production. Okay. In this case, there is no production. In the preceding case, there was at least one production. Okay. Means production symbol. So that has the same variable at both its left hand side and right hand side. So here the number of variables will remain same. A grammar is said to be non-recursive if and only if it generates finite number of strings. So definition for the recursive or non-recursive grammar is same, but here the rule is little bit different. Here we will use no production, but in the preceding one we will use at least one production. So this is important. A non-recursive grammar has neither left recursion nor right recursion. Okay, a non-recursive grammar has neither left recursion nor right recursion. So I am just taking your attendance here. So this is called the non-recursive grammar. In this case, no left recursion and no nor right recursion. Example just we are considering here, as we can indicate as AA, okay, or BB, but we will use as per need. Okay, we will use as per need. So here we can divide as AA or BB. Okay, so we can choose as per need or requirement. Again, A is divided into, we can choose either A, only single character, or B. Similarly, capital B, we can choose either C or D. Okay, so here we can choose only one character as per need. So such type of grammar is called the non-recursive grammar. So this is called the non-recursive grammar. Just we are going to break this side and just we are replacing only at one side. Okay. So this is called the examples for the non-recursive grammar. The language generated from this grammar is L. So L is the language. Now we can use as AA because we can write here replace because A is equivalent to A or B. Okay, so we can get as here as AA. Okay, just we are replacing this A by A. We can also write A. Suppose if the given string, in that case, there is no need of this and we want this B, then we will replace the A by B. So we can write here AB. Okay, here we can write AB. So similarly, as per requirement of the given string, we can choose such type of grammar. So these are the different options which we can make with the help of this. So such type of examples are called the non-recursive grammar, and in the next we will use to solve such type of string so that you can judge easily what type of grammar we are using, whether it is a recursive or non-recursive. Okay, since the grammar generates finite number of strings, therefore it is a non-recursive grammar. If we will use the finite number of string, then it is called the non-recursive grammar. Here the strings just we are going to break. These are the finite and these are provided. Okay, just we have only such type of grammar. So in this case, we will get the finite number of strings. So this is called the non-recursive grammar. So here, just for the note down, the grammar which is either left recursive or right recursive is always unambiguous. Okay, so just you have to remember this whether we are using the left recursive grammar or right recursive grammar. Okay, it will be always unambiguous. Okay, so in each case we will get one parse tree only. This is the, we can say, recognition, or this is the identification, that if we are getting single tree, then our grammar may be left recursive or right recursive. Okay, but it must be unambiguous. If we are getting single tree, then it may be left recursive or right recursive. So all type of such type of, this is, we can say, unambiguous grammar, one of the example. And also this is leftmost and this is rightmost, right recursive and left recursive. Okay, so such type of the example used for the unambiguous grammar. Again, note 2, the grammar which is both left recursive and right recursive is always ambiguous. Okay, if we are using the grammar, if it is both left recursive and right recursive, it means ambiguous. So in this case, we will get the two parts tree, and such type of grammar is called the ambiguous grammar. And in this case, both left recursive and right recursive grammar we will choose. So these are the options. Here this is called the grammar. If we will break, this is the given grammar, already designed grammar. Okay, we cannot change this grammar. We can use only the string, whatever type of what output we want, but this is fixed one. Okay, and this fixed grammar is called the ambiguous grammar, because in this case we can draw more than one tree. Okay, so we have the, we can get the two trees, and this is called the faulty grammar. So again, there are several conditions. Left recursive grammar is not suitable for top-down parser. So we never use for the top-down parser, left recursive grammar. This is because it makes the parser either enter into an infinite loop. To avoid this situation, it is converted into its equivalent right recursive grammar. This is done by eliminating left recursion from the left recursive grammar. So for this, we will consider the grammar, otherwise you cannot understand what is the left recursive grammar or the right recursive grammar. In the next one, we will consider few examples so that you can judge whether it is a left recursive or the right recursive. These are the several conditions. So again, this is one of the conditions. The conversion of left recursive grammar into right recursive grammar and vice versa is decidable. So we can decide. So these are the conditions. We can say node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4. So you have to remember this. We can say these are the mathematical rules. Okay. And you have to remember these rules. So how will you convert the ambiguous grammar into unambiguous? Now there is also some methodology so that we can change ambiguous grammar, that is the faulty grammar, into the unambiguous grammar. Okay. So how we will change pauses such as left recursion, common prefixes, etc. makes the grammar ambiguous. So for this we will again consider some example. So there is a if left recursion and common prefixes that make the grammar faulty. Okay, we always use some prefixes. Then that prefixes affect our expressions and makes grammar ambiguous. The removal of these pauses may convert the grammar into unambiguous. So we always avoid prefixes. Okay, common prefixes. Then we can get the unambiguous grammar. So we always compile the program, then we avoid some errors or debug the errors. So after debugging the error, we will get the single syntax tree. So we can say that after debugging the program, we will get unambiguous grammar. So these are the method to remove ambiguity. The ambiguity from the grammar may be removed using the following methods. So these are the methods by adding precedent rules. So here we use the precedence. We provide priority. Okay, like in case of the mathematical expressions. In mathematical expression, we always provide priority. Suppose we have e plus e into e slash e, okay, then we provide the precedence. Precedence means we will give the first priority to the we can say divide over the multiplication. Similarly, over plus we give the priority to multiplication. So such type of rules we will take care of this, or by fixing the grammar. Another method is called the by fixing the grammar. Another method using the semantics. Okay, we use some logic here, and by adding grouping rules. So there are some few grouping rules we will consider for that to avoid the ambiguity. Okay, so now the time is going to finish for the zoom, and we will continue in this session. If you have any question. Hello.
Oh, sir.
Okay, thank you.
सर लैब के लिए सर क्लास कब लेंगे आप?
हैं? थोड़ा
लैब के लिए कब क्लास लेंगे सर आप?
लैब के लिए आपका कब है क्लास? फ्राइडे और सैटरडे को है?
जी सर.